first one, number one, summarize what the person in the video did. So they did a dehydration reaction. They started with copper sulfate pentahydrate. And they took that and those like little crystals and they put them in a crucible and then they put it on top of the crucible holder, because I don't really know what that's called. And then they lit a flame underneath it and they let the process begin. While they had the flame, the crystals turned blue. No, they were blue and they turned white. And then he took it all off and weighed it and Did you guys catch anything else? Because I feel like I didn't get everything from that video.
I mean, I guess.
I did see him measuring out a lot of things, especially like the little cup. That's the crucible. Yeah. He was measuring out a lot of things. Does anybody know what he...
I saw him measure flame, the mass of the crystals. That's all I caught.
Yeah, I also just like saw the pretty basic stuff like the mass and the crystals and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I guess that's pretty much like the gist of what happened.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, explain how a dehydration reaction applies the process shown in the video. Before the crystals had contact of the fire, it was first copper sulfate pentahydrate. It was just normal blue crystals. Water molecules were stuck inside of the crystals. And when they started doing the experiment, the fire caused it to come out. And while that happened, that's when the reaction, the process of dehydration came in. And that reaction changed the whole, like, ionic, like it just changed the ions. Now it was just, CuSO4. And yeah, that's how it goes into the, so it's pretty much just went from an old one to a new chemical.
So this new chemical isn't like, it changed it, or did it just remove something?
It didn't really change it. For instance, once while the torch was heating up the crystals, the water molecules didn't go away. Let's say they just somewhat evaporated and went up into the atmosphere. So they could obviously come back if they have contact with water again.
Well, I wouldn't say atmosphere, but I'd rather say air. When you say atmosphere, it makes it seem like, I don't know, I just feel like it makes it seem like a different concept, like earth.
I got it, so like air in general.
6, identify what the person in the video does to ensure a valid experiment. I feel like his experiment was pretty valid. He measured out a couple different things like the flames and the mass before and after, so I would call it valid for the most part.
Personally, I don't think it was that valid. I mean, I think it was a good experiment, but I don't think it was that valid because, like, he didn't really measure out the crystals. I didn't see, he was just, like, taking it and putting it in the cup. And usually, like, when we do experiments, we usually, like, zero it out first. If we have, like, a substance inside of something like a beaker or something, we usually zero it out first so that the mass of the whatever we're holding the substance and doesn't like affect our data. And I don't know, that's just not something that I saw him do. And I just saw him like taking stuff and putting it in the cup, and it wasn't really measured out, whereas we always measure things out first.
That's true. Yeah.
I agree with Nadia. Sorry.
All right, guys, so we know that you guys will be doing your roundtables next week, and so we have tips to give you that hopefully will help you during your roundtables. Why don't you start, Richard?
Okay, tip number 1, I would say just be confident, get comfortable with your peers. While you do that, you'll engage more, and you'll just be able to share more information.
My tip, I would say, is speak up, make sure everyone can hear you. Like Richard said, stay confident, don't be scared to get out what you have to say. You want to make this nice and professional.
I would say don't be afraid to play devil's advocate or challenge what someone else is saying.
And then mine is that if you hear something, if you don't hear something that you know should be said and that applies to the question asked or like the overall discussion, you shouldn't be afraid to go ahead and say it. Everything. No, everything. Everything matters, and your voice should be heard.
Hey,
guys, thanks for watching.
And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell.